Okay, ourgrinnell.com is visiting Paul and Cheryl today to talk about the incredible blessing they have at this particular Christmas time with Julio and Stephen, S-T-I-V-E-N, who they just recently brought back from Bogota, Colombia to be permanent members of their family. And I would like to ask the two of you just briefly how this all came about.
We started the process about 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
And made an inquiry to Children's Home Society and Family Services at St. Paul, Minnesota, because we had been looking on the internet, wanting to do an adoption, and they had a very up-to-date website, and we contacted them, and we basically ended up starting by going to some parenting classes because we knew we did not want an infant, and at that time it was one child that we were looking to adopt, and after completing the parenting classes there was a mountain of paperwork that had to be completed, and including fingerprints every 6 months for about up until about October of this year. And we had to have a home study completed where a social worker comes in and asks a lot of questions. Some of them are very personal that you have to answer, and a lot of relationship type questions about our marriage, and you know, if we bring two children in or bring a child in, how is that going to affect our marriage? And you know, they leave no stone unturned, so to speak. And from there, we declared a country that we wanted to adopt from, and partly because of our age, Colombia, we fell into the Colombian adoption requirements of age appropriates. A lot of countries that they work with each have a different age limit, so to speak, and
also Colombia also had the greatest need of older children, which that's what we requested of somebody 5 years or and above. Mm-hmm. And they have a large number of children of that age group. The Colombian people are currently adopting more and more infants. So there's not as many infants available, but there's a lot of older children available.
Is this a non-denominational agency, or is it religious?
It was non-denominational.
Yeah, no religious requirements for the agency. Some of the countries do require you to be Christian or, you know, the faith of that particular country, but Colombia is pretty much all the Christian faith, primarily all Catholic. And it's a huge Catholic, country. But early on in the process, you know, we was thinking of one, and we said for the cost of going to the second child was minimal, except for the traveling expenses for, you know, bringing them back, and the adoption study was still going to be the same. It's just going to be additional cost to the ICBF, which I don't remember all what that is, but it's a additional cost for the children's care while they're over there, which is a minimal cost. So we decided to go with two instead of just one.
And we originally had requested a boy and a girl, and after receiving a couple of referrals and reviewing them very carefully, we felt we could not meet some of the needs of one of the child involved, and we were on a waiting list for about a year.
Almost a year.
And then this referral came to us with Stephen and Julio, and if I remember right, it was May when we accepted them and accepted the referral, and August before we heard back. And
of this year.
And we didn't know at that point what was going to happen, you know, because it was taking forever, it seemed like, for them to
make a decision.
Make a decision.
We were told 3 to 5 weeks. You know, towards the end of May, we figured we'd know by the last of June, and there was no word in July, and it was the latter part of August when we heard. And then from there, the paperwork had to go from the ICBF office, which is located in Bogota, Colombia, the head office. Then the paperwork goes to the regional office and to the agency that would be, let's see, if it's the agency or the orphanage where they would be located at. The central office, just the main office that coordinates everything across the country wide. So that took an additional about a month before that paperwork, we got responded from that paperwork being transferred to that local area. Then by the time we know that we got accepted up there, you know, and the boys were ready, we did not have much time, about two weeks.
About 2 weeks. We got a phone call, or Paul got a phone call on, was it November 4th or November 3rd?
Somewhere first part of November right now.
And we were told that we needed to travel by November 14th in order to guarantee to be back by Christmas. And then they called back like the next day, and I happened to be at the ICCE convention in Burlington at the time, and they called back and said, no, you can't go.
Not until the ICBF official says the boys are ready, are secure with the decision of being adopted to an American couple and traveling to the United States. So at that point, it took about another 5 days, a week, before we heard back on that, and then we was asked to travel by the 19th.
Yes.
And a perfect time to talk to you about when you made that decision to leave Grinnell, hopped in the car to go to the airport. What were some of your feelings between here and the time you arrived in Bogota? I assume that that they were all very positive, and you were excited and elated, and
well, it was a whirlwind week. We really didn't, at least I didn't have a whole lot of time to think, because we had to go to get to Chicago, because we had to apply for Colombian visas, because we had the potential of being down there for more than 30 days. And so when you are going on a legal matter or a business matter, you have to apply for a Colombian visa. So we made a flying trip the middle of that week to Chicago. We left on a Tuesday, come back on, had appointments on Wednesday, and come back on Wednesday night. And the agency had sent us information about the Colombian consulate office. Be prepared for a long wait. And so we planned ahead accordingly and left the hotel in Chicago really early. It was a 45-minute cab ride. Got down there. There was nobody in the Colombian consulate. We did not wait. We were in and out of there in probably 45 minutes. And it was real easy. And of course, we had to produce a lot of documents at that particular point in time, including photos of the two boys. And we got kind of a chuckle out of the consulate worker. She had asked for the paperwork, and so we produced all that. And she says, "May I see a photo of Stephen?" So I went to hand her the photo, and everything is done with a piece of glass between you. And as I slid the photo of Stephen under the glass to her. She had flipped the paper over, and she says, I see you're adopting not one, but two. And I said, that's correct. And she said, may have a photo of Julio. So I produced that for her, and she goes, oh my, he looks like a Dennis the Menace without blonde hair, she said. She says, please have a seat. 30 minutes later, we were out of there, and she said, congratulations and good luck. And we left and come back here and started packing for our trip.
Also, just right before we got this, we did not know what the boys' sizes for clothing and stuff. You know, just a few days before travel, we had to get clothes around for them, you know, with the appropriate sizes, which they did not turn out to be the appropriate sizes. No. What they sent us as for American sizes that were just a little too big. But some of them did work, some of them didn't work, so we had to buy a few more clothes there. But the day we was left, we got up, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock Saturday, November 19th.
You know, on the 19th of November. We left about 3 o'clock, needing to be at the airport about 2 hours early before we take off. So we left 3 o'clock, getting there about 4:30, and then we took off about 6:30 Monday morning.
No, Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. And yeah, we was having a little bit of a sense of relief. At least we were in the air, you know, on the way going. And it was still the little bit of the unknown of where we're traveling, what we're to expect. We were still a little bit scared, but we were happy that we're going on this. Then we got to Atlanta in about 2 hours. Then we had a 7-hour layover in Atlanta, and we talked for a little bit, and you know, not knowing what we're getting into, what we're to expect, but we were just trying to calm some of our nerves a little bit, and then we got on the plane at 7 hours later, and to fly to Bogota, and we got there. What was it, about 9 o'clock or 9:30?
9:30.
9:30 Bogota time, which is Eastern time here. Went through the customs and got through, you know, the customs interviews and stuff like this. And when we walked outside, we were supposed to have a taxi driver waiting. And you do not go through the airport when they take you through customs. You just walk outside. And just a mob of people out there, people waiting for the people coming off the planes that are all coming in. Majority of the international flights come in late afternoon, evening in Bogota. So there's a huge crowd of people waiting for ours, and we could not find a sign with our name on it out there. And we were a little bit scared at that point in time. It was what we were supposed to do. Our driver wasn't there. We ended up finding somebody who could speak a little bit of English, had a cell phone because we had no cell phone at that point in time. Called the hotel where we were staying and asked about the driver, where he was located at. And he says he'll be there in 10 minutes. I don't know if he was running behind or whatnot, but it says it was a little scary for the first 20-30 minutes after we got out of customs, because they're just a mob of people, and you're in a new land where you don't know the language very well. They speak very fast on Spanish.
Yes.
And if you don't know Spanish, even pretty good,